Welcome back to another episode of Shabbat Shmooze. This week's parsha is Parshat Tazria, which discusses the laws of lashon hara. So fun fact, I was at my neighbor Bita's house one Shabbat, and I saw that she had one of these signs up in her dining room, which is where we're all sitting at the Shabbat table. And I thought that was such a brilliant idea. So we made our own and we put it in our kitchen, because the kitchen in my house is the heart of the home. We want to make sure that anyone coming into the kitchen understands that this place is a lashon hara-free zone. So this week's parsha discusses so much about what happens to a person when they speak lashon hara, and what happens to a person when they refrain from speaking lashon hara. I heard a gorgeous story by Rabbi David Ashir, and he told over a story about how sometimes when it's so hard for you to keep the lashon hara in, you might feel like you're really losing, but in actuality, you will always gain. Rabbi David Ashir tells over a story about a man who was working at his job, and his boss came over to him and said, listen, I need you to tell me whatever you know about so-and-so. I know he's a Jew, I know you know him, tell me everything I need to know about him. I need to know if I should do business with him. And this man, this Jew, this frum man, knew that this is probably going to be lashon hara. So he said to the boss, I'm so sorry, I'm not sure I'm allowed to tell you. Do you mind if I speak to my rabbi and get back to you? And his boss was so bothered. He said, I'm your boss. I'm your employer. You're telling me that you can't answer me and you have to speak to your rabbi to let me know information about a guy? That's ridiculous. Absolutely not. Tell me whatever it is you know. And he thought about it and he said, it is lashon hara. It's forbidden speech. So please allow me to speak to my rabbi, and if he allows me to tell you, because sometimes it can be letoelet, then I will tell you. But I can't answer you until I get permission from my rabbi. So he calls his Rav, tells him the situation, and the Rav says, I'm sorry, this is straight up lashon hara. There's nothing you could say. So he goes back the next day and he tells the boss, I'm really sorry, but I can't give you information about this man. I spoke to my rabbi, and it is lashon hara. It is forbidden speech. And this boss is disgusted by his employee, saying, I'm sorry, what? That is ludicrous. How ridiculous. Okay, you're gonna regret this. Wait and see, you're gonna regret this. And this guy feels terrible, but halacha is halacha. So he doesn't say anything, and he's really eating himself up, thinking, I'm gonna lose out because of this, I'm gonna lose out. But alas, Hashem teaches us we never lose out by refraining from speaking lashon hara. For 30 days, the boss made this employee's life totally miserable. He made it so difficult for him to be so happy at work. But after 30 days, the boss comes into his room and puts out his hand and he shakes it. He says, congratulations. And this guy's like, what are you congratulating me on? You've been quite difficult this past month. What's going on? And the boss says, I'll explain. He said, I'm being asked to go to a higher position within our company, and I'm gonna have to be traveling a lot. And I was thinking for the past couple of weeks, who can I trust in my company that will keep all of our very important secrets very private? I have no one here. I cannot trust a single person in this entire company with my company secrets to help us get to the next stage that we want to be at, until he refused to tell me information about that guy. That is when I realized, if this man is so careful not to say something that's not allowed, I know that I can trust him. Congratulations, you have just been promoted. And he was promoted to a much better position with a much higher pay. And he saw that because he refrained from speaking lashon hara, he was so greatly rewarded. So I want to conclude with a beautiful quote I heard from the amazing Rebbetzin Esther Young-Rice, Alea Shalom. Before you speak, you are in charge of the word. Once you speak, it is in charge of you. So friends, this week, as our spiritual homework, please think before you speak. If it's lashon hara, don't say it. And just know that Hashem will always reward you for refraining from speaking lashon hara. Shabbat Shalom.